Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming. arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine.
Okay, good morning, councillors, and welcome along for our special meeting of the last day of February. So I'll call for leave of absence. We don't have any. I haven't heard from Councillor Wickerson, but Councillor Mather's caught in traffic. He shouldn't be too far away, so I just see Councillor Wickerson coming in now. So it looks like we'll have a full house. I might do the acknowledgements, and firstly I'd like to begin by acknowledgement of country, the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today, the Dalrymple people, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. I extend those respects to our neighbouring Aboriginal peoples within our local government area, the Gungaloo Nation people, the Barada, Cabelbarra and Yeddamarala people. I also acknowledge the Torres Strait Islander peoples whose land is in the Torres Straits but who live and work on Aboriginal land. Councillors, moving on to item 4, the declarations in the interest and matter on the agenda. As it's a budgetary one, I don't think there's any declarations there, but if there's anything comes up during the course of the meeting, councillors will by all means raise them at that point. Moving on to officers' reports. Officer report 5.1, the Gracemere South Rockhampton Sewage Strategy Review. I'll hand over to Peter to walk us through that report. Thank you, Peter.
Good morning, councillors and mayor. Okay. This report is seeking council to endorse the long-term strategy for Gracemere in South Rockhampton. There are two resolutions. The first is the actual endorsement of the strategy. The second resolution is to reallocate 14.5 million. And if you look at your report, it will say 14. That was an error on my behalf, but it's 14.5 million to the North Rockhampton Sewage Treatment Plant project. In a minute, Ashok Verma will give a brief presentation and step through that strategy. There are 2 other corrections to this report. Could you just, if you have a look within your report, under commentary, you'll see a 2027. That should be 2030, and the 2042 should be 2033. They don't make any material difference to this. These numbers are evolving over time, and we will eventually bring you a 10-year asset plan which will outline this in a little bit more detail. So work is on behind the scenes on trying to work out the timing of this. The key about the strategy is that council adopted this strategy in 2014. What we have done is reviewed that strategy and seen if it applies and it's still the best option for today. And essentially it is. So the strategy that you are adopting is what you actually adopted in 2014. The next steps after that will be concept development and developing, as I said, a long-term asset renewal and upgrade program. I'm now just going to hand over to Ashok just to go through and just explain the strategy to you, okay?
Thanks, Peter. Welcome, Ashok.
Okay. Good morning, Mayor, councillors, and all CEOs and other officers. What I'm going to present at this moment is the Gracemere and South strategy. As Peter said, that this strategy was in fact adopted by council in 2014, but for some reason its implementation hasn't been as it was expected at that time. We are now 9 years from their time. So in order to have anything, every strategy has significant number of assumptions. So 9 years is a long period. We had to validate those assumptions, and we had to see whether that strategy is still valid. Okay? So we did engage an external consultant, and one of the member of that consultant was the member of 2014 team of Sinclair Knight and Mudge, who did that. So we did, again, reviewed that strategy with whatever assumptions we made, whether how they resulted. for reconfirmation and validation. What we did examine from that strategy and the long-term strategy is how to solve the problem of South Rockhampton STP as processing train of South plus keep Gracemere. Okay, so we have a smaller new plant, both old plants getting upgraded in Gracemere, both processing train, and keep Gracemere. Third option was that we have a new plant, we upgrade both the existing processing trains, but close down the Gracemere. So we have a bigger new plant, both existing process trains are upgraded, but we close down the Gracemere. Okay? Then the fourth one was that we consolidate. We consolidate everything into one new state-of-art treatment plant at South, close down old South plants, close down Gracemere, and we have a brand new plant of a big size. So these were the four scenarios that were considered. Even in 2014, we reconsidered them again here. Okay? And we used multiple criteria to assess which option came back, and we come back. The major thing that you will see is the cost. What is cost, and what are the associated risks with these options? Cost is one part, but the risk. So first option, we new plant plus one train of refurbishment and having Gracemere upgraded, it is 111 million. The smaller new plant, but both existing process trains are upgraded and refurbishment Gracemere, 114. Again, we have a bigger new plant. We take the new plant from here, both process train here, and we close down Gracemere. That is 130 million. But then the fourth one, that we construct a brand new 50,000 or 55,000 EP North Rockhampton STP, state of art with new technology and no legacy carry on. A clean new start line, okay, for next in a healthy way. It's 117. And after, so that is one thing. What are the risks associated with this? Before we make a decision, before you make a decision, what are the major risks? The risks are operational, okay? All other options, so the construct a new plant and close down Gracemere is the recommended strategy. That is the strategy number 4. Why? The question you people are asking, why? Why we do this? All other option involves multiple plants at 2 sites with a significant operational risks cost. New 50 plant will be a single plant. It will avoid all refurbishment costs because refurbishment cost is a black box. Okay? Till we empty, till we offline, till we look into, we really cannot make, we are just making assumptions. It's no different than lottery ticket. So refurbishment cost is a big risk. The benefit is the economy of scale. Okay? One single plant, bigger plant, do not linearly extend the operational cost, but it significantly decreases. Operational cost, which is the main cost which council has to bear for the next 50 years. And the third one is that this is considered the best strategy, and that is why it is recommended, but this requires funding. Okay? So each one has got its own risks. And that is why, considering all balance of probability, this is the strategy for a long term for Gracemere and South. How operationally it will work? Because council has the environment license of council says that in Gracemere, the effluent must be used for irrigation purposes. That commitment needs to continue. And in future, the stringent standard that are coming for all effluent from these treatment plants is that discharge to waterway should be eliminated or minimized. Reuse of effluent should be maximized or guaranteed to protect environment, have improvement, and integrated water management cycle is most efficient and effective. Okay? Right now, people are irrigating from the treated water, which is very high cost. You can convert it into effluent reuse. So these are the things we are in a long-term strategy that has been considered. Adopting this strategy is not tomorrow. It's a significant work has to be done. So what are we going to do in the short term? Okay? The question is the short term. So several short-term issues have been identified, and the most important short-term issue that need to be fixed till the new plant is commissioned is to make sure how we are going to address the regulators' concerns that is in Gracemere we are non-compliant. Okay? And we need to do that Gracemere plant, we have to have zero discharge. That means 100% utilization of effluent. So we have to guarantee how we are going to do it within the license condition. That is the first issue of ours. Okay? Odor. Regulator have in writing complained that the number of complaints are not being satisfactorily addressed. So we have to make a permanent solution for that. Okay? Till such time we bring our long-term strategy into reality. Biosolid sludge management. And there are significant issues because Gracemere is running beyond its design capacity. We need to reduce the load so that it can work much within its design capacity. So these are the most critical issues for us in the short term to address. But it's not easy, okay? Because South is not very healthy. South is also limping, if not, can't walk, if I may use the analogy, okay? So to do that thing is up, the major issue is that it has got significant odor, hydrogen sulfide gases that are being generated there, which has really made certain area out of bound for its operators. Can't do it. Stringent aqua health and safety regulations are coming, and that means we need to address that hydrogen sulfide issue immediately. Okay? Plus, South Rockhampton at this moment is running beyond its design capacity that was forecasted in 1976. That means it was designed for 2 trains of 12,500 EP, total to 25,000, it is running at 24,500 before we bring Gracemere load. So we have to do it that its hydraulic capacity need to be validated, done, adjusted, so that it can take that extra load for next 8 years. Okay? And minor other operational issue that we have to do. So we have to do these issues there. But this is not the issue, because the Gracemere is not sitting there and south here, and it will orbit. In between is a network. Okay? So when we bring the other issues, that will be the network. And other network issue is how we connect Gracemere with south. Because we are not going to trucking it, the load of Gracemere to south. We have to make sure that we have a pipeline for that. This was all in the strategy in 2014, nothing new. We started the pipeline, but never finished. And then there is in between is a very critical Arthur Street pump station, where the most of south runoff or catchment areas, sewage comes in, collected in Arthur Street, and then pumped with a single by the pumps to the south. And that Arthur Street pump station, which is in fact is the heart, I can say heart, and that pump station, it is not in a good condition. It's already in the wheelchair, it can't walk. So we need to make sure that we have, as a short-term strategy, a brand new Arthur Street pump station, because it has to survive for next 50 years. So we have to first construct the Arthur Street pump station as a part of shorter strategy, pipeline, so that we can then join South and Gracemere. Okay? So this is, the story is there, and these two works is the prime short-term measure to connect it. And they must be completed by this time, which is not having much time. Okay? So this is, so where we are right now. Your question will be, where the hell you are right now? So where we are right now, the Gracemere to South pipeline started in 2015, but never completed. And Arthur Street. So this is to connect them, and at both ends, we'll have to do the short-term measurements. So just to stabilize the entire network in a short term, so that we can have a breathing space, properly assess our long-term strategy, well thought about it, think about it, well designed it, get license approvals, and then construct it in a way that we have keep all through our journey, we keep your risk, consul's risk, low, medium, low. Okay? And regulators have confidence what we are doing. Okay? So with this, what Peter said, we would like Council to accept this long-term strategy, accept the short-term measures and actions, and then reallocate the Gracemere current budget to south, so that we can, north, so that we can start north, because north is our backup. We have to have North Rockhampton's sewage treatment plant upgraded as early as possible, so that should there be anything fall over, we have got a fallback with sufficient extra capacity to take this.
Okay, thanks, Ashok. I've got a number of lights on there, so I'll go to Councillor.
Thank you. Thanks.
Councillor Smith, and then back to Councillor Latcham. Councillor Smith.
Yeah, if we could go to, I think it's the second page with the amounts. It just didn't really add up to me. Yeah, next one. So why would a new 25,000 EP for the South Rocky be 114, yet double that is 117? What? So on the second
Yes.
line,
Yep.
it's got 114 million for a new
Twen-
25,000.
Yep, EB, yep,
Oh, and that's a refurb of Gracefield
yes,
as well.
yes,
And the
This is-
refurb of South.
yep. Refurbishment of south trains.
Okay.
These are the main things.
So it just looked funny, the
Yep.
new one,
Yeah.
at twice that capacity,
Yep.
is only another $3
Yeah.
million.
In this, it is not the plant cost, it is this refurbishment cost.
Yeah.
It is these refurbishment cost that increase exponentially.
Yeah, so if the South Rocky upgrade is so urgent, why aren't we diverting funds from Gracemere to South Rockhampton?
North Rockhampton, because South Rockhampton cannot start immediately. It needs a lot of work, design work, planning work, okay? How we are going to bring it and the approval from the regulators, okay? And these conditions need, and that will require minimum 2.5 to 3 years.
Yeah, just to expand on that, so the North Rockhampton upgrade is fully designed and is tendered. All of these plants are aged, and had North not started, we probably would be talking about South. But North is urgent just as much, and we need to build a additional 25 so that we can then go in and refurbish the old 2 trains, because it is a very old plant. So, and as Ashok said in the presentation, it gives us one new plant in our whole operation that we can then go, right, this is refurbed, it's ready, it's going to be reliable. So that's why. South, we are moving as quickly as we can on South, and that's started now, but there's a long design, concept development, siting, approvals process to go. So we will move as quickly as we can, but in the interim, we are stabilising South and Gracemere to keep them running while we do that work.
And are we confident that the EPA will let us build a new one at South?
Yes.
Yes. The regulator is seeing all of this and are very much on board with where we're going.
So we're applying for funding for this new project?
We
along
will
the
be
way if we
applying
can?
for funding under all things,
Yeah.
and that's it. Right now, this is just giving you information to adopt the strategy, okay? We will come back with a lot more detail and how we fund this over the next 10 years, and we are smoothing it out. This South plant, we're buying 10 years, roughly, time before we will
Yeah.
start. So there's a whole nother layer, and at the next infrastructure committee, we plan to give you a presentation on the
Much more.
asset renewal
Yep.
program for sewer and water, which is a little bit of a different question to this one, which says adopt the strategy. The reason why this has been pulled out and is being put as a special council meeting is we have tendered North Rockhampton. We want to engage that contract. The reallocation of that 14.5 allows us to engage and let that contract, and we plan to do that subject to this report being approved today. And the reason is there's some urgency and some also currency of that tender. If we went to tender again, as you know what's going on with prices, it'd be more expensive.
Yep.
So just to say that I have talked to Peter about, while all this is happening, that we can still get the effluent water for the Gracemere Golf Club. Go through all that again that we've just been through with the club, which wasn't real good.
Thanks,
I've
Kev.
been assured that that's going to happen.
Yeah, we need to improve the treatment of our water, but we will be maintaining that connection to the golf club and hopefully enhancing. The more water we can give those groups and other groups out there, the better for us.
Yep.
And our ability to assure the irrigation to them is how soon we can stabilize Gracemere and satisfy them. And the only way we can stabilize Gracemere is to take extra load that is coming on this plant is to bring it to south. And it is running within its capacity. Currently, it is running beyond its capacity. So first of all, to stabilize, we have to take that extra load from it, bring it to south.
Thanks, Councillor Smith. And last Thursday, I was down in Brisbane with the CEO to talk about funding with Minister Scanlon's advisors about the North Rocky Sewage Treatment Plant and looking for funding from that space. It's also a priority in our federal election campaign for the North Rocky Sewage Treatment Plant upgrade, so we're attacking funding on both federal and state levels for that project. That's not to say, once we've got the details on this one, that we won't be looking to seek funding for those as we go forward as well. Thanks, Councillor Smith. Councillor Latcham, then I'll go to Councillor Wickerson Mathers.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and through to Ashok.
Yep.
With each of these 4 different options, there's obviously pros and cons for each one of them. I understand why you would go with the one from an operational cost savings point of view, but with that there's a risk when you leave your eggs in one basket, I believe. And my question, I guess, is has any treatment plant ever failed before? And if it did, I know we're going to obviously look at a 50,000 EP one, but if it was to fail, obviously it would have wider implications.
Yes. The main thing there is these plants have within itself redundancy built. Each plant, if you see north, south, Gracemere, there is a mandatory requirement that you should not have one process train. You should always have in every plant 2 process trains, so that it needs a proactive and appropriate maintenance and operation, so that both train goes healthy alternatively, okay? And should once a train can fail, the other one can, in an emergency, can go through the full load, which have that much of redundancy, short term.
Yep, good to know, it's contingency.
Yep. It is mandatory requirement. No design will be approved if you don't have 2 trains.
Thanks.
Water supply and sewage supply.
Thanks, Ashok, and thanks, Councillor Latcham. Peter, did you want to
I was
add
just going to
something?
add a comment too, in that these plants typically, that's the failure side. These plants tend to just deteriorate over time. So as the load goes up, they don't kind of fall over, and that's why our plants are still running. They're just being put under load and deteriorating.
Yep. It is no different than bridges and others. When the bridge conditions deteriorates, we adjust the load limit, its capacity. When the sewage treatment plant, if we see there are certain things are there, we reduce the capacity to stabilize. That's why I'm saying the Gracemere need to be stabilized quickly before anything follows.
Thanks, Ashok. Councillor Wickerson, then Councillor Mathers.
Yep, thanks, Mayor. Through you to Ashok. Similar line as Councillor Latcham. Are there 2 trains at the new
Yes,
south?
it will be 2 trains. That's a mandatory requirement.
Okay,
We cannot approve a design with 1 train.
okay. Second question is, the new plant, will we demolish the old plant and then build the new one on top of it, or do we have the space there to build it while we keep the
That
the
is
old plant
what,
demolished?
we have to keep the existing one running
Okay.
till the new one is fully commissioned, and then we, in the middle of the night, cut over.
Yep.
Okay, and then we can demolish that. What we are looking at, Councillor Wickerson, is we are seeing it how to integrate this plant, how to maximize use of underground infrastructure from existing to the new one. Okay, how we can bring this new plant, locate its footprint most economically and optimize the design on the current site. Okay? And these are the thing that is going to do appropriate time and appropriate investigation rigor, design, peer review, everything in the next 2 years or years, and getting to the regulator, costing it again and again to see we have got a best solution. Because it's not only what we see outside, it is how the underground structures are there and how their capacity is there. But if there are some good elements, we retain them. For example, I gave you people a short-term measure of, which is the H2S gas. So we have decided that we will consider this, construct this new facility as a short-term, but with a view that this new facility will be part of the new plant. Okay? So these are all the things we are going to have to do continuously to optimize it.
Okay, thank you. Last question on South Rockhampton. Are we going to look at some localised flood mitigation for that? I know during the last flood we came fairly close to not being able to use it, but even if we can keep the plant working, it's still got to be safe.
That is because planning approval will not be given if we are council's own, that if we don't have those operating as elements of the plant above the maximum flood level, which is Q100. So all those electrical, mechanical component operating have to stay above the 100 flood level, just to manage it, that thing in the flooding area, the plant remains operational.
Okay, but just to clarify that the site itself may still flood in and around the tanks?
Yep. Because site will always, it is a floodplain area, but we need to see that when the site floods, the plant remains operational so that as soon as water goes down, it operates. It is not broken down.
Yep, I understood. I'd like to jump to the effluent pipeline now. Is that costed? At some future stage, we're going to pipe treated effluent back to Grace?
So there is a 3 stages of that pipelines will happen between Gracemere to south. Currently, the pipeline that is started in 2014-15, which is incomplete, that we have to complete it urgently, priority. This will bring the 6,000 EP load currently from there to a sewage pump station, which is at Blackhall or on Arthur Street only, and then from Arthur Street goes to south. But when the new plant comes in, and the next 30 years, the load at Gracemere will increase considerably. So as a part of the new South Rockhampton STP, we will have to construct a pipeline, new pipeline from south to Gracemere. And Gracemere treatment plant will be converted into pump station. So Gracemere load comes to Gracemere treatment plant, but that is not a treatment plant, it's just a pumping station. It will pump straight to south. And this pipeline temporary, which we are using right now, okay, this pipeline will be converted into bringing effluent from New South plant to Gracemere. Okay? So there is a lot of transition has to be done in a plant, and that is why.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mathers and Councillor Kirkland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wow, so many questions. I'll try to reduce them a little bit. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Ashok. First question I have is in regards to the Arthur Street pump station. So we're saying we want to pull, I think it was 8,000 EP or 6,000 EP from Gracemere, the load, to South Rockhampton. But obviously we're talking about $10 million odd to upgrade to rebuild the Arthur Street pump station and also complete the pipeline. The pipeline. Obviously, we've got to make sure that the sewage treatment plant, South Rockhampton sewage treatment plant, can handle that extra load before we go and spend that money. At what point is that going to happen, and how certain can we be that we're not going to spend the $10 million and then find out that that's just going to give us a lot shorter lifespan on the Southside treatment plant? So,
Councillor, there are two part of your question, okay? I'll ask into part A is the capacity, and part B is why are we changing new Arthur Street pump station, okay? Number one, the capacity wise, the work is happening, and it has happened 2 weeks, 3 weeks back. The South Rockhampton's structures are in a good health condition. What is not good health condition there are the processes and the mechanical equipment, okay? That is going to fall over. So we don't want to change all the equipments there. We only want to maintain those critical elements. For example, in the sewage treatment plant, the most critical element is aeration plant. So we are going to change the aeration capacity of those reactors, okay? And with that, external consultants have assured me, designers, that that can happen. That is, so South, with those short-term measures, will be able to handle this in for short time. Okay? That is one part. Second part is, why are we changing?
Sorry, can I just interrupt you just for 2 seconds there? So the augmentation of the aeration part
Yes.
of the train, is that included in the $10 million?
Yes. Yes.
All right, sorry.
So what is Arthur Street, why we are changing Arthur Street? Okay, is the second question. Whether we adopt this strategy or we don't stop this strategy, Arthur Street in itself alone is in a very dire condition. Okay? Arthur Street is an oak health and safety risk. Arthur Street roof of that pump station could collapse any day. Entire its reinforcement of that roof is gone, missing, because it has been eaten away by corrosion and all the acidic gases because of lack of maintenance operationally, and I'm not going to go into the details of that, okay? I've seen that, and that is a very, very high risk. So we need to, in order to stabilize the South Rockhampton area, because entire South Rockhampton sewage from network comes to Arthur Street, and then it gets pumped out there, okay? And if it collapses, we have got a major problem. So we need to do that immediately, okay? And that is one of the main thing was H2S gas, and it came to our light, otherwise I would not, they came to us light when H2S gas was being identified by regulators, should be controlled in South. So we were there, how to control that? So one of the options was at Arthur Street. So we went there to look at Arthur Street, and that is when this problem all came out. So Arthur Street is in a very, very dire stage. And we need, work is already started, design is happening, because we need to sink that well before next wet season.
Peter, did you want to?
Yeah, I'm just going to add something there, and that is, we are, 2 weeks ago we've had people looking at these plants. They've got all the drawings, they're behind the scenes doing the concept development to truth this. So that will be done. We're not going to build a pipeline and move 6,000 EP to something that can't take it. They're doing a hydraulic assessment, a treatment assessment, to make sure that the plant can do this for the next 10 years.
Yep. The age of Arthur Street, Councillor, just for your information, people may not even imagine that one. Arthur Street pump station was designed in 1937. It was constructed and commissioned in 1951. And I got a hold of those old drawings, okay, which says that. So it is a, but it's not maintained.
Oh, plant, yeah.
Yep.
Councillor Mayor, the further question?
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor. Yeah, look, I appreciate it, Ashok. I understand if the pump station needs to be renewed, it does. I just want to make sure that we're going to have some sort of surety that the Southside Sewage Treatment Plant is going to be able to take that capacity. And it sounds like, you know, that we're looking
I
into
can tell you the amount of rigor that necessary, okay, why we have come back, okay, that I'll do my utmost to make sure that rigor is there.
Yeah.
That rigor is there, that checking is there, okay, that peer review checking is there on the, in terms of design complete rigors, and that is, those are the international standards that we have to adopt for these major infrastructures.
All right, fair enough. Just a couple more, if that's all right, Mr Mayor. So, Ashok, because this is a short-term fix, more or less, the reducing the load from Gracemere, is that going to fix the issues that the constituents have there at the moment in regards to odour, that type of thing, once we do reduce that load?
Yes.
It will?
Absolutely. And why I can say absolutely is the source of odor. It is not to fix the dry, wet patches on the carpet. It is to find the hole and fix in the roof, the hole. So what we have trying to fix the hole. And the hole is that for the last 10 years, the biosolids have not been managed there. So we are engaging quickly a contractor for all treatment plants, not only Gracemere, to clean the sludge lagoons where the treated sludge goes. Okay? And clean them up and then condition those sludge lagoons and then make sure there is a proper operation planned, that they are cleaned regularly.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
And that will address the source. Also, till we decommission Gracemere, we have a proper odor control system on the intake where the raw sewage comes in. So these are the two holes where the odor emits. So we are going to fix those two holes.
All right, thank you. Just two more, Mr Mayor, if that's okay. So moving to the north side sewage treatment plant, if we are to reallocate that 14 million across to north side so that we can do, and this may have been, I didn't see it in the report or anything like that, but what are the costings or projected costings for us for the augmentation of the north side sewage treatment plant? How far is the 14 million
Look
to
at
go towards that?
the thing is, it will go long way. It will not be complete because the complete budget for the North Rockhampton Part A and Part B, that means new process train of 25,000 EP, plus upgrading the two existing trains of 25,000 EP each, is to the order, and all other sludge lagoon and every management order is of the order of 75 million. Okay? We have, with this budget of 47 and odd million currently, with this 14 million, it will come out to us about 62 million. Okay?
Yeah.
And we will still be short, but we can carry on for 2 years. It is the last year we will require more money. Okay?
So,
But if we don't award the contract, Senator, with the current international and national affairs, the price contractors of tenders which we have negotiated, they won't be holding it.
Yeah. And look, Ashok, I totally understand that, and it's something that we need to do. My concerns are, you yourself said that, because we're doing, we're only refurbing, we're building one new train and then we're refurbing the other two trains. You yourself said we don't know what the refurb costs are going to be until we get in there, pull the thing apart and see. So those figures we're talking could blow out exponentially.
That is why I am reasonably confident with my experience that what I've seen it, the level of contingency that we have provided in this 75 million, okay, is on the borderline if we have to replace one of them. Okay, so there is a sufficient provision for the treating the worst case. So the confidence of this budget of 75 million is 90% or 95%. Okay, there is a highly unlikely that I will come back to you standing in front that, but still there are assumptions, things do happen.
No, I appreciate that.
But
I'll remember those words, Ashok, if you do come back to us for more money.
I do quite appreciate your concern, okay, and that is a valid concern, okay, but where I stand, I think the level of rigor has been put in as significant.
Yep. And how many sewage treatment plants have you constructed, Ashok, in your time?
Oh, I lost the count of that.
Yeah.
I'm currently involved in 6. The most critical treatment plant, that is the third, is going on, is a Bateman Bay in New South Wales. Okay, that is going on the Surf Beach. Okay? That is a treatment plant is going on, and a number of. There is no treatment plant in Sydney, if you know, Councillor, from Waterfall till the border of New South Wales, Eden, that has not been upgraded, and I'm not involved as a senior executive of relative councils, whether it is Shoalhaven Council. Okay, you name it, or the Eurobodela Shire Council, or even in the Wollongong.
And Ashok, I totally understand that. I'm not questioning your abilities or your knowledge. What I am trying to do is just trying to cover everything for our ratepayers, because it's,
Absolutely.
we know
Absolutely.
our financial situation at the moment.
And it is quite a privilege that we're able to, the help you people getting it out, this one, okay? It is the question of rigor, it is a question of managing, it is a question of control,
Councillor Moses, do you have another question?
No, I think
Councillor
I've worn out my
Kirkland.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Ashok, can I just say firstly, well done in the presentation. I, as you all would appreciate, as Portfolio Chair, have been in the background having lots of discussions around this and diving a little deeper, asking a lot of serious questions, and Ashok's presentation this morning is a very well-rounded estimation of where we are at and where we are going. I do have a couple of questions around dollars and then a couple more serious questions. So around the dollars of the sludge management and the correction of that, both at Gracemere, South Rocky, North Rocky, has that, where in the budget dollar figures has that, that process been included?
Yep, okay, you see, there's two aspects of that. Sludge lagoon has two aspects. Or, Peter, you want to explain?
Look, I'm just going to say that there's a whole layer below of costing of all of these projects that we pulled out of a presentation that you're going to get at the Infrastructure Committee that talks about the capital costs, the operating or maintenance costs for sludge management. We're out to tender on a number of these items as well. So there's another presentation to come, which is about the whole asset project stream for sewer and water, and that's where it's all contained. So
there's more to come?
Yep, much more. There's probably another 20 slides that we've blocked here, because this report's very specific. Do you agree and support the strategy that you adopted in 2014? Are you prepared to reconfirm it? You're not locking any dollars in. The only dollars you're doing is moving the 14.5 so that we can get on with North.
Yep.
The rest is going to come in a much more detailed presentation and report.
Excellent. And can I just say that I actually think this is the best path, and the strategy is a very good strategy, and I am having, with all the knowledge that I have, raw data be it, absolutely in support of this direction. And it leans into some of my additional questions, if I may, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Certainly the 10 million estimation for Arthur Street, I know we're not going to talk dollars in strategy terms, is all we're talking today is strategy moving forward. In principle, absolutely agree with all of that. Is that 10 million of Arthur Street, you've got 14.5 going from Gracemere back to North Rocky. That 10 is another layer that you're referring to.
Peter, did you want to answer that one?
That's the piece that I'm coming back with, which is the long-term asset renewal replacement budgets and projects.
Excellent.
So that's separate. The key thing here is we currently have that budgeted of 47.5, and the 14.5 are in our current budget here. So we're not changing budget. We have the funds to do this. All we are doing is saying,
moving it.
We've got a project that's ready to move. Let's get this one going. We will come back and show you a long-term spread of projects and how we've smoothed it out with all of these projects, some capital, some operating. But
Awesome.
I haven't got that picture here for you today.
So really the north side's being managed, and then we'll move into
I fully understand that.
planning for the south and
in this
Gracemere.
forum, wanting to bring forward some questions. And in this forum, so to close out with my questions, 2014, this strategy was adopted 9 years ago, and here we are. My question is, why are we so late in moving forward with this strategy? And the second question, you've mentioned Arthur Street, sludge management, that there was not proper management of the sludge, and then there was not proper maintenance of Arthur Street. Could maintenance and proper management of those facilities have mitigated where we are? They're my questions.
Yep. Did the former Water Chair want to say anything, or Peter?
Look, my comments, there's two. It's very easy for a council to adopt a strategy. It is hard to implement, and I can't go into the why, but it was deemed that one component was done, which was the west, and the rest looks like to me was not seen as a priority by
whoever was in at that point in time.
So it's difficult for councils to fund this kind of infrastructure. This is not unique.
It's not sexy infrastructure, is it?
And
It's not
you
pretty.
can go right up and down the coastline, they struggle.
Yeah. Evan, did you?
I think, Mayor, if we want to elaborate any further, I think you'd have to go into closed session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I just wanted to use this forum to ask those questions because I know that the constituents are going to ask those questions of us as well.
Thank you. Councillor Smith?
Oh, yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Just another couple of things. I did talk to Peter about the EP as well. I sort of didn't understand the equivalent persons because we're going to build South Rocky to 50,000 and that's actually the population of the two areas now. So how do we take into account the growth predictions and why do we land at 50,000 and not more?
I will answer a question, that one, Councillor. This is quite a standard system how the population growth in the South Rockhampton or Rockhampton as a whole and in the catchment area of Rockhampton that is served by South Rockhampton sewage treatment plant. Those all projections were calculated what population was in 2014 and what will be in 2042. Now, again, we have calculated what population is now and what it will be in 2050. So that is south. Similarly, thing has been done for Gracemere, okay? And those populations are then converted into EP and those are added. They are all in the detailed report, okay? So south populations is going to plateau, okay? South populations are going to plateau and they will be are currently 23,000 and they will plateau at 29,000, okay? Whereas Gracemere population is going to go more than double, okay? It is currently around 10,000 and it is going to go to 23,000.
Try nearly 13,000 at the moment.
11,000.
Well, the last figure I saw was 12,700 and something.
Okay, and then, so those are the predictions that are come back from the forecast from the different sources, and council adopts it, and those sources have been validated, and then they are converted into EPs and are added. So in the load for new treatment plant, there will be 29,000 EP will come from south, and 23,000 EP will come from Gracemere. And 2051, and that is the load the plant need to be designed. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any further questions, Councillor
Yeah,
Smith?
no, just a comment. None of that was in the report, like the EP.
Yes,
and the
yes,
predictive
those
population.
details are, this is as Peter says, it is only for the strategy, and those can become in a detail. I'm quite happy to, discuss and show the full report. There is no problem on that. That is why I'm satisfied that appropriate rigor has gone in,
Yeah.
okay? And
So,
that is
yeah.
there. And those assumptions in 2014 in terms of population forecast, okay, are reasonably robust, and they have been validated, they have met right now up to 2020.
Yeah, we got the strategy review. We didn't actually get the whole strategy, did we? That wasn't given to us, the whole strategy?
The whole strategy.
The whole document. We just got a review.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah, we haven't got the whole strategy.
no.
no, just a review.
They are the quite thick report and quite a numbers and graphs and all those things, and that is, I'm quite happy to talk with.
One thing that did occur from 2014 to now is the population growth predicted back then was quite high and it hadn't occurred, so that's bought time as well.
Yeah, I don't actually remember it coming to council in 2014, but then we were so into de-amalgamation that year, really hard to remember
And then
what else we
they changed the
decided.
budget process around that as well, Councillor. if you
Yeah, that's
recall.
right. Yeah.
Mr Mayor, if you could, see if I could, Councillor Smith, if you recall, there was a fairly lengthy discussion around the closure of West Rockhampton sewage treatment plant.
Yeah.
That was a part of that whole strategy.
Taking that offline. Councillor Mathers?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just two questions this time, if that's all right. Through you to Ashok. So, Ashok, look, as far as the different options that we've got, option 4 does make, to me, a lot better business sense. Have we got any idea what the cost savings would be in regards to operational costs? Because, you know, operating one plant versus 2 plants.
Yes, yes. You see, main thing, what has happened, it always have the maintenance of the resources, okay? Whether we have any breakdown or not, there is a routine maintenance that needs to be done, inspection and checking. If you have got 2 plants, then you have to physically go there to do things, okay? And if you have got a larger one, it doesn't mean that you need to have double or triple that inspection, okay? Because your plant is bigger, okay? So that's a direct saving of resources in duplication by if you have got a plant duplicated. So there are quite an accepted practice that if you consolidate and you got economy of scale bigger, then you will have significant saving. Because main savings are your 2, okay? And that is a power, chemical in terms of your cost, and then the third one is the labor. Okay? So once you are running the smaller plant, it doesn't mean that it should be reduced, but it stops at certain level and then it goes, and then it becomes uneconomical. So that is why any plant which is less than 20,000 EP are uneconomical to operate and maintain. And that is why this particular, to keep the Gracemere running and also have a south which is less than 30,000 EP or was a very, very operationally inefficient. Quantification exactly has not been done. Qualitatively, yes, okay? And why? Because the data currently, which is there, actual data, is not correct and complete. So we have to have a current data to make sure those extrapolations are done. But the level of current data and the history is not reliable, complete.
Yeah, understand. That makes sense, Ashok. The other thing that I'd sort of like to keep in mind is obviously we're going to have to make sure we have a look at our operational budget, because if we're in this situation because of the ongoing life maintenance hasn't been in place, it's going to cost the council more money to operate these plants, whether new or old.
Could not agree more with you, could not agree more. It is very good to buy a Ferrari car, but you should have a proper garage and a mechanic to maintain it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And that is what, okay?
Yeah.
And that is, I would say, you people are getting very big decisions, okay? But its operation and the cost is to be considered upfront.
Thank you. And my last question, Mr. Mayor, if that's all right. So, Ashok, can we just quickly go to those costings that we had just a minute ago, if that's all right?
Yep.
And I'm sorry, I'm going back and harping on about the 75 million full north side treatment plant. And I'm just looking at, you know, the figures that we're looking at there, you know, 35 EP to refurb 1 and the existing train, potential refurb of Gracemere sewage treatment plant. Now we're talking about on north side refurbing 2 trains and building 1 brand new one for 75 million. But yet up there we've got for 114 we're refurbing 2 and a potential refurb of Gracemere. So that's 3 refurbs but not a new build for 114. The one up above it for 110 million is we're refurbing 1 sewage treatment plant and the existing process train and a potential refurb of Gracemere sewage treatment plant for 110. Yet we seem to think for 75 mil we can do 1 new train and refurb 2 on north side. Is there any reason why, where's the cost saving coming from on north side?
Okay. The main thing of cost here, if you're asking the cost here, why it is the cost is high, okay, compared to north one, is the new technology and the new plants. There, what we are doing right now is, and that is why that strategy is not a recommended strategy, because that still have got the risk of failure high. Okay, there these risks are out. Here those risks are out. In south, you have got these risks in.
Yep.
In north. In north, you have got these risks in.
Correct.
You cannot out the risk. And these costs are the cost of getting those risks eliminated totally.
And okay, so,
And that is the one thing, and this is a purpose design, okay, right from the greenfield side. So those costs are normally high.
but aren't these same risks relevant to north side as what they are to south side?
Yep.
But that means they wouldn't be covered at 75 million if we've had to cover them at 114 and 110 on south side. Maybe I'm missing something here. I'm not trying to be
The
difficult.
main thing which is happening is the way the north is configured and the way the south is configured, that plays a significant role in the cost.
Okay.
Okay? And the way the new south will have to be configured in that site itself, okay, plays a cost. So there are many factors that those costs, you just can't compare two plants,
Yeah.
okay? And significant ground conditions and other things need to be taken into account.
All right, fair enough. Mr Mayor, if you don't mind, just so I'm not holding up the process.
Any question you want, Councillor, you're fine.
So I'm not holding up
apologise for
the
it.
process. No, I think what I might do is
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah.
take this
And-
offline and maybe talk to
Yep.
Ashok and Peter.
And one thing, Councillor, I must add, this 117 also includes a pipeline to bring the Gracemere back in.
I thought that continuation of the pipeline was covered under the 10 million.
No, that is a short-term measure.
Yeah.
That is a mandate, and that is we are bringing the current load. But the permanent load, that is 20,000, 23,000 EP, needs a big pipeline from Gracemere directly to south, not to Arthur Street Pump
Yeah.
Station.
So that's the second
That
pipeline.
is included
in that as well.
in this plan,
Okay.
included in all these costs. Okay?
Okay.
In these are less because we are keeping the Gracemere. So as soon as we cut the Gracemere, the cost jumped. Because the pipeline, 13 kilometer and a pump station
Yep.
for a capacity of 2051, not today's capacity.
Yep. Okay.
Okay? And that is a major element of cost.
Thanks, Ashok.
Thanks very much, Ashok.
Councillor Rutherford?
Thanks, Mr Mayor, and mine, it's probably more of a comment, and I agree we don't have much choice here but for the outcome. However, I'm a little concerned about the lack of information in the report, and then trying to go back looking for information was very difficult. It talks in the report that we workshopped it in November 2021. I tried to find the information and I couldn't. So even to go looking for stuff to delve into this report was very, very difficult. Now, Ashok has provided a number of stuff here today, which is great, but we have asked previously for this sort of information to be in the reports, not to be presented at the table. And I think this is a fairly important discussion we're having, and I think the questions actually show that we needed more information than what we were actually given here. You know, and I think we have asked before, and I'd like to ask again, that we're given much more detail in these reports.
Mr
not-
CEO, we're highlighting that, and it keeps coming over again, that we've got to be providing the council with information so they've got enough to base their decisions on, and those questions that are coming up may be answered if they have the ability to be able to read the information in the reports prior to the meeting. So it's only prudent, and it's information the councils are entitled to, and it's information they should have.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. It's also our history. You know, when years to come, when people look back and go, where did these decisions, how were they made? The only thing we have is what's written. You know, the presentation is not there, and I think it's important.
And I struggle to find when that pipeline, if there's a process that was talking about bringing that pipeline from Gracemere to Rocky, and why did it stop, and where was the decision around that? I'm just not sure if I could recall anything in detail around that either. Thanks, Councillor Rutherford. Councillor Kirkland?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Well, we've had really awesome discussion this morning and a lot's been highlighted. I'm happy to move that the strategy be adopted as per the officer's recommendation there.
Thanks, Councillor Kirkland. Do I seek a seconder with regards to that one? Councillor Deputy Mayor, Councillor Fisher. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, Ashok. And we look forward to that at the next infrastructure meeting. And again, if we can get a lot more detail and information provided, that'd be fantastic. Councillors, we have an item to be dealt with in closed session. It's item 7.1, the Federal Government Roads and Strategic Importance Initiative. Councillors, could I seek a mover and a seconder that in accordance with section 254J3, local government regulations, local government resolved to close the meeting to the public to discuss a confidential item, and the councillors and the members that consider this in the closed meeting. Mover and a seconder. Move Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Mathers. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. And that the meeting be closed to the public to discuss the following items in 2543J3, local government regulations, for the reasons indicated, the Federal Government Roads Strategic Importance. Mover and a seconder. Move Councillor Wickerson, seconded Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Motion's carried unanimously. We'll move into closed business. Thank you.
Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody's swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Councillor Smith, would you like, oh, hang on, we'll just wait till we go live. Sorry, we're live, okay. Councillor Smith, would you like to move this one as the portfolio
I'd like
chair?
to, but I'd like Councillor Rutherford.
And Councillor Rutherford, would you like to second as the divisional
That's
councillor?
her division and she really pushes for things out there and I'd like to second it.
Yep. Oh, okay, so swap it over. Move Councillor Rutherford, seconded Councillor Smith. Thanks very much. Yes, look, it's a great outcome, councillors, one that we look forward to that project taking off. But that said, I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? The motion's carried. Thank you. Councillors, there be no further business. I'll call the meeting closed and thank everyone for your attendance. Thank you.
Home is with you wherever that may